Hello, everyone, and welcome to Intuitive Minds by Shelley and myself, where we elevate consciousness globally. Our topic today is latest ET disclosure with James Gilliland from SETI, Stargate in the United States. I am super excited today because this is a topic that I love from when I was about 9 years old, because my father's friends way back then told us about his interaction with UFOs. So this is a fascinating topic, and I cannot wait for more information to follow. So Shelley, it's over to you, and please introduce James Gilliland.
Thank you, James. Hi, everybody. So James Gilliland is a best-selling author, internationally known lecturer, minister, counselor, multiple near-death experiencer, and contactee. James is the founder of his SETI Ranch based in America, SETI, which stands for Enlightened Contact with Extraterrestrial Intelligence. James has been at the SETI Stargate Ranch for close to 40 years and has had higher intelligence contact for that long, where he documents and shares incredible multidimensional contact phenomenon, and that can be viewed at www.seti.org. His weekly As You Wish talk radio program on bbsradio.com draws an audience from around the world who are interested in truth and higher consciousness. His books that have been published are Reunion with Source, Becoming Gods, The Ultimate Soul Journey, The Anunnaki Return, Star Nations and Days to Come, and his most recent book, UFOs, Religion and the Origin of Man, Beyond the Controlled Narrative. These books help awaken, inform, heal humanity, and provide the reader a multidimensional view about what is happening in our world as we move through these times, forward through these times of great change. He has been a host of documentaries. Contact Has Begun 1 and 2 has been featured on various television shows, documentaries, and radio shows. He is a truth teller committed to dispelling, my cat is attacking me, dispelling and exposing misinformation and disinformation propaganda, highly censored, controlled narratives from those three-letter agencies that, yep, we all know, and other deep state players regarding ufology. He presents at international UFO congresses, Contact in the Desert and Star Knowledge conferences, and hosts Science and Spirit World Transformation conferences every summer, every year at his SETI Ranch. He is dedicated as a facilitator of Eastern teachings and disciplines to help awaken, heal, and rebalance humanity and the earth. And he teaches higher dimensional realities from personal and direct experience. On behalf of James Liddell and myself, James Gilliland, we are absolutely thrilled to have you here. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show. I got to shorten that bio. It's like...
It's beautiful. It gives you such, an absolute overarching credibility that you are absolutely due. The work that you do is astounding. So thank you. Handing it over to you, James. We're going to do some questions, James, and we're going to just see where we go with this exciting adventure today, along with my cat attacking me.
Absolutely. And here comes my first question, and it says, please share any recent message shared with you from higher consciousness for our audience today, perhaps something from the Archangel Michael.
Yeah, Michael's been coming in a lot, and we have, it's hard for people to understand, because when you go into the interdimensional mind, there are so many levels of consciousness there, and a lot of people want to pigeonhole it. They've got the masters, and that's all they want to talk about, or angels, or God. And then other people want to talk about the fairy kingdom, or the nature spirits, or things like that. Other people want to talk about German back engineering, or our own back engineering, our secret space fleet. And there's so many levels to this. And then you've got the spiritually and technologically advanced ETs, that's where I focus mostly now, because I think they can best help us to get through these times. But it's, there's all this competition and in-house fighting in the UFO community because they all think they have a piece of the pie, but they want to have the whole pie. This is the pie, but no, you just have a piece of the pie. And it's all the above. We need to check the all the above button because it's all going on, at once. And so there's time travel in there too. We have time travel. The ETs have time travel. Their ships can time travel, and there's a major multidimensional war going on right now, and a temporal war as well with the negative ETs and negative entities. So all of that's happening right now, and unfortunately, when you get to the top of ufology, it's a club. It's a controlled narrative, and if you're authentic, you're not in the club. They've got, and so I'm a big thorn in their butt. I have been for a long time, and to me, it's like I think it's an extreme disservice to not support contact with these spiritually and technologically advanced beings, because they have healing technology that's almost like magic to us. It's amazing. They have free energy, they have fearless energy, they have anti-gravity, counter-gravity. They have everything we need to clean up this planet and live a totally healthy, prosperous life. But the powers that be really do not want to see that happen, because you got the war and the disease profiteers, and the last thing they want is universal law, which is universal peace and brother, sisterly love and individual freedom and prosperity for everybody. I mean, they don't want that because they want to be the overseers. They want to be in control of everything. So that's what's happening right now. But with that, that world, that old draconian program, draconian law, all that stuff is collapsing in on itself because the earth is ascending, and it's not frequency specific to where the earth is going and where humanity is going. So we have all these incredibly powerful spiritual beings coming in, multidimensional beings, helping us in this, in the planetary liberation going on. And we have the other guys doing all they can to stop it, but they can't. This is like, whatever name you want to give it, God, creator, great spirit, whatever it is pressing in. And they have their legions, and they're coming in now, and it's over basically for tyranny. It can't exist in the Earth's evolutionary process because she's moving, she's ascending, she's going to the next level, and we have to move with it. So that consciousness and also too, their actions are being accelerated. So the reaction to their actions is being accelerated and amplified too. So they're imploding. That whole group is imploding, and it's being revealed and exposed. And we have to bring in Michael a lot because there's some really nasties, that show up now and then. There's like serpent beings and royal reptilians, demonics. There's all kinds of stuff doing all they can to stop this. And so we have to call in Michael. We call in the lion beings. They're like 17 foot tall. They're protectors. And a lot of different groups come in now. And there's the latest thing going on right now is, and we filmed their ships, and I'll get that to you. Siobhan came in, and he's a warrior. He's like, it's kind of like a Palladian warrior class. They have their own planet that they train on. They're like a Jedi group. And they're kind of like Supermen. That's the only way I can explain it. And he looks like Superman when he appeared to me. And I said, boy, you're looking a lot like Superman. This is a little crazy, and he turns around, he's got a cape on. They wear capes as well.
Crazy.
Yeah. And so he's been seen flying all around Mexico on YouTube, all these pictures of this guy flying through the air. And they're doing a lot of cleanup down in Mexico because there's a real reptilian stronghold down there. And they're actually seeing it. People are actually getting footage of him, flying around through the air. It's kind of funny. It all sounds crazy, but they tell us what's going on, and then all of a sudden we see the footage showing up. but they're cleaning out all the deep underground reptilian bases, all that stuff. There's a group there's the Orion Council of Light, which are very working with the Pleiadians, and they're the main key people that are helping us right now. And then there's the Orion Alliance, which are the reptilians and grays, and so they've had fighting back in the system, in the Orion system for quite some time, and the Orion Council of Light were victorious. Most of them are 6-dimensional beings, and they're coming in to help the Earth right now. And so we're getting a lot of help, but we all have to do our part. We all have to rise to the occasion and start living according to universal law and be a civilization worth saving, basically.
Beautiful, yes. Can I ask you, James, are we coming into a time, this Superman kind of character over Mexico? That really inspires me to hear that, because it becomes more visible to others as well. Are we coming into a time where extraterrestrials, the good ones, are going to be able to show themselves to us? Some of us have seen ETs for a long time, yes, but talking about generally the public, is there going to be a time, in your professional opinion and in your sense, that this is going to come forward for us?
Eventually, what it is that we have to rise to the occasion, and because there's no purposeful good in them appearing to people if they're just going to go into fear or worship them. They don't want that. No. And so they are appearing to people that have risen to the occasion, that have raised their consciousness, that have, dealt with their shadow sides and done their own personal healing. They are appearing to a lot of people. And I talk to housewives all the time that are having all these incredible experiences, but you're not going to hear them in the UFO community. They're kind of pushed down, and because they're having these incredible benevolent. I talked to one the other day, and she had all these experiences with these beings that kind of look like Ganesha, and they have the trunk and everything. And she said they're so loving and so caring. And she had some pregnancies. I won't say her name, but she had some pregnancies, and they helped her with that, made sure everything was good. But and then you've got the House of Mary, which is Mother Mary and the grandmothers and Mary Magdalene, and they're all working through the divine feminine. And then you've got the Pleiadians, which are a matriarchal society, and they're really tied into the divine feminine. So there's this major contingent of this divine feminine energy coming in right now to bring balance back to the earth. And I've always said we have it backwards, because the divine feminine is the receptive side, and we have both those sides. We have both positive and negative within us, and so the subjective side is subjective to creator, and it gets the information, and the objective side makes it happen. So with men, the right side is usually your male side, your left side receives, and it's the same. And so women by nature can receive clearer messages and are better connected, and they're in their emotional body more, which is a higher body, much more vast body. And so a proper civilization would be getting guidance from creator through the feminine and making it happen through the masculine. And we've gone the opposite. So we went into the masculine as being in charge of everything, and making everything happen through the ego. And then unfortunately, we have a lot of narcissistic egos out there that are in charge that shouldn't be. They shouldn't be in those positions, but they're all collapsing in on themselves too. Even their health is crashing. They can't maintain their bodies because they're out of touch with the divine feminine, which actually is the nurturing, healing side, so.
When we look at this world, it's very frightening for a lot of people. And it's frightening unless you can see through the veils, and unless you can see the truth that is there. It's always there.
Yeah, on one level it's frightening, on another level it's funny.
It's also,
you look at it, you just go, you can't make this up.
You can't make it up.
You go, seriously, you're really gonna do that? You're really gonna say that? And it's almost humor is the only thing that keeps you alive down here, basically, because it would consume you in the negative without
Right.
humor. But some of the things I've seen, I've seen some of the most morally integrity challenged people in the highest positions of office right now, but that's all being exposed, and they're being just puppets for these other unseen negative influences. But that's all being cleared out right now. The puppet masters are being taken out, and their little puppets are floundering right now. They're not functional anymore.
Yeah. What happened from your side, James, regarding the former President Trump's assassination attempt? I mean, that was a huge story in the world, and still many people are seeing certain things in a certain way, as opposed to the blatant truth staring us in the face. Because what happens in America affects the entire world, and we've got to get realistic about it. That's the truth.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, it's in America, we're in South Africa. No, it affects everything.
Well, what's happening with Trump is he's exposed everything.
Yeah.
He's exposed every level of corruption, the weaponized agencies, the media, everything. He's just, and this is the last fall. Now the media has no credibility whatsoever.
Right.
The way they're covering this, so they're saying, oh, there was a couple pops and he ducked and they took him off, he ran and they took him off the stage. They're not even talking about the people that were actually killed there and wounded, critically wounded, and the headshot that he took. They're not even covering that. The mainstream media, it's unbelievable, but some of them are, and some are going, okay, enough of this. I'm not going to push this agenda anymore, and they're leaving and they're being outspoken. And so it is good, but people have to realize, the agencies and the media and everything, that's all part of the deep state, and the deep state is collapsing. And it's being exposed and it's being seen for what it is. And so it's just part of the process. That a lot of the Q posts said it was going to happen. They warned people that it was going to happen, like, get ready. It's not going to be what you think. And in a way, I was going, oh God, man, I hope he's okay. As soon as I found out, heard about it, and I knew he was okay. And then this wave of energy came over here, and it goes, this is good. This is good.
Really, James? Amazing.
I go, what do you mean this is good? This isn't good. And they go, no, that was their death knell. That what they did right there and the way they're covered and everything else is their last run, their last, I want to say last shot. It sounds like a pun.
Yeah, right.
but that was their last shot of hanging in there. Now they've lost all credibility. Most of their backing's gone now, and people are seeing the writing on the wall that it's over. We have to move with the energies coming in because the old program is collapsing.
Well, this is very exciting to hear from you, James, on that point. It was I think there's not many people on the planet who didn't know that happened. And that's the reach of that, huh?
Yeah. And Melania, too. Melania is very, very plugged into the House of Mary. And we have photographs of Mary appearing here, and we sent them, we sent them to him. But she's very plugged into the House of Mary, and I think she posted, looked like a picture of Mary, like over Trump, like.
Yes, I saw that. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
right.
She's very, very plugged into the House of Mary and working with the children and saving all that stuff. So, so she's. I mean, they've totally tried to discredit her, but. She just holds her head up high and does her thing. And
beautiful, elegant woman.
Yeah, well, she's, I don't know how many degrees she has. She speaks several languages and everything else, and they're trying to make her into something else. But it's so ridiculous. I think the women should really get behind her and somehow elevate her to be. She already is a voice, but to be a voice for the feminine, the divine feminine. But there's so much going on multidimensionally that people don't see. It's hard to figure out, what's really going on. But it's all connected. And I tell people ask me, well, what religion are you? And I said Star Wars. Yeah. And they go, what do you mean? I go, well, there is a force out there. And there's a
I
positive
love
force and negative force. There's some gray area in between.
Yes.
And there's different levels of integrity and
Nice.
you know, and that's just the way it is. And there's some very, very nasty, dark beings out there that have lined with the dark force, and there's some very benevolent, positive beings that are extremely powerful.
Yes.
They're on the light force, and the light force is coming in. They said it's finished, enough's enough, and so they're coming in to help. But it is going to get a little chaotic. It is going to get a little crazy because all this stuff that's been going on the whole time is all coming up and being revealed. And so it hasn't gotten uglier. It's always been ugly. It's all surfacing.
Yes, that's the truth. Yes, James. And do you think, James, you know, I've always had a position of compassion as much as possible. Of course, I'm not in judgment. I don't want to work with judgment. I don't aspire to anything like that. But cognitive dissonance, wow. And then at the same time, I mean, glaring obviousness. There's a compassionate part that tells me, you know, they just, you know, don't drink the Kool-Aid, they drank it. And they drank it so much. And now there is this absolute rage coming out because they cannot be wrong. They won't allow themselves to be wrong. And I don't know about a general sense of that in your country, but for sure, I experience it here.
Yeah, they say the phases of healing or enlightenment, and I can't remember the exact number, but how they come in. But you know, one is denial.
Yes.
And then denial, and then there's so much evidence in your face, and then the next one is rage, and then you own it finally, or faith they're going through. And I'm seeing these people making statements, and they're going, "You had 8 shots. What the hell's wrong with you?" You know, they're saying these and it's just unbelievable, and they're just showing how damaged they are, how mentally ill they are, and how morally and integrity challenged they are. And it's up for everybody to see right now. And you know, it's I have to back up. You know, I get caught in, and I go, well, and I back
me
up
too.
and go,
yes.
oh, hey, I'm not gonna get sucked into this drama.
No.
And I'm going to hold a frequency through this whole thing, but I'm also not going to be silent. You know, I am going to call out what's unfolding, and this is what's going on. But some of these people, I mean, they're going on national television, and they were calling out. They said the only way you're going to stop Trump is with a bullet. And
I know. I saw some content.
The Democrats need to know this. A bullet is the only thing, and they're saying this on live TV. And I'm pretty sure that's a threat, you know, to the president. And so they should be having a knock on their door by you know,
arrested.
the agencies, but they're supporting it because they're all corrupted too. But that's all going to flip. That's all going to get cleaned out.
Yeah. James, do you have some questions? Because I don't want to dominate, because oh my gosh, I can ask a million questions, but I have something.
Obviously, just as in the human race, there are well-meaning beings and beings who mean us harm. With nearly 80 years of hiding the truth with high level, government covers up, censorships, misinformation, controlled narrative campaigns, etc., about the fact that the UFOs and ETs are real. Discernment for humanity to prepare ourselves is vital, because well-meaning ETs are not here to save us. We are to learn to save ourselves. Well-meaning ETs, some of whom are our ancient ancestors, are returning to Earth to help support human awakening and our natural evolution into sovereignty. Please, can you share any guidance to our audience how to discern, prepare, protect ourselves if necessary when meeting ETs that we feel and are safe? Please, James.
Yeah, brilliant question. Got so many levels to it. We teach self-mastery here in the ambassador training. We teach people inner sensitivity, and how to discern the intentions and the frequencies of the beings that they're working with, which is imperative right now. Because we have a saying, just because you're dead doesn't mean you're enlightened, and just because you're an ET doesn't mean you're benevolent. Now, there are other people at the top of the food chain in ufology that are saying there are no negative entities or no negative ETs, and we're supposed to open up and let anything come through us. Certain doctors have been saying that out there. And I think that's the height of irresponsibility to do that, because that's actually how you get possessed, basically.
Yes.
So that, when you look into that, just that alone, you look into the rest of the stuff going on, doing pujas to Shani. Shani's a demon, It's like, hooked up to Saturn. And so these people need to use discernment. They need to really look into who they're following and look into their connections. If they're bragging about their connections with the deep state families and things, then you need to change channels on that one. There's a lot of that going on. And the bottom line is that everything we do here is to empower the individual to make their own personal connection with Creator, Great Spirit, God, whatever name, and connect with the greater family of man out there, and use discernment. And we teach people how to heal unseen negative influences and move them out of your space and set boundaries. And if you're having trouble, you can call on the higher beings to come in. A lot of the known masters that people are aware of, they can call in, Yeshua or Jesus or Babaji or Mary or Kuan Yin, or there's all these known masters you can call in, Buddha, for help, and they'll clear them out. We have to get past this division program too. And one of the serious things we have going on here is that it's the external program that we've been mind controlled by. So all of our love, our acceptance, and our approval needs to be found within self. And that comes with making your own personal connection with Creator, that there's more love and acceptance and approval, unconditional love you'll ever experience there. And that's going to free you when you do that. And also the realization that the external God is a myth, it's internal. And all the masters have taught you internal. Your love, acceptance, approval, and your connection to God is within you. It's internal. And so, unfortunately, a lot of the institutions have an external image of God, and they're the go-between, and you pay them and they'll tell you what God says or whatever, And that has to break. That program has to break. And the same thing, if everybody has their own personal connection with Creator, you're governed by the soul, which is connected to the source. And you automatically operate under universal law, and you can't be deceived or persuaded or whatever. And that's where we need to go to. But the external thing, if you look at all the TV advertisements and radio and music and TV, all that, the shows, the movie industry, it's all focused on the first three chakras, which are survival, sex, and power. And that's how they trap you, and they keep you in those, and the image of an external God. They want to really push that, and an external savior. Going back to the question, the external savior, a savior is going to teach you how to save yourself.
Yes.
It's going to teach you how to make your own personal connection with Creator. It's going to hope that you will go beyond them and further than them. They don't want to be worshipped. They don't want to be. And the most disempowering thing going on is that external savior right now that but there is, excuse me, there is something going on. There are the ancient Lyrians, which are known as the Anunnaki, the bearded gods. They were here, and they had their turf wars, and they had, their problems. Some of them evolved and went on. They left the planet. They took the feline beings with them, the Lyrian and Syrian feline beings with them, because they operated under universal law. And they left, and the fallen Anunnaki were left here, and they made a pact with the reptilians. So, excuse me, Marduk made a pact with the reptilians like 450,000 years ago, and we're still under draconian law ever since then. That's all collapsing right now because the benevolents are coming in with universal law. And so that's what's going on. So people need to align with universal law. It's basically be kind to each other on the planet. That's what it is. And excuse me. And by doing that, you know, everything's going to turn around, and just don't participate in any actions. Like when you step out of universal law, you create karma, and there's a reaction to your actions and choices. And so just start making, and sin is the archery term, just means you missed, means you missed the target. So reload, try again, you know. Like hell is a garbage pit. If you didn't have enough money for a proper burial, they threw you on the garbage and burn you with the rest of the trash. I mean, that's the origin of these things, but they used them to manipulate people and control people. But, you know, we're not perfect. We're all making mistakes. We're gaining the wisdom from experience. And that's what I say. The only sin is not gaining the wisdom from the experience and doing it over and over again, you know, if you want to use that word, but excuse me. But the, you know, it's we've just been so socially engineered on every level, you know, government institutions, religious institutions, business. And my best thing, I tell people, get out in nature, take your shoes off, walk on the ground, meditate, release the past, you know, find whatever process-oriented therapy you can to help, you know, release the wounds and traumas and wrong conclusions from past experiences. And then your frequency is going to rise. And the more your frequency rises, and all of a sudden the higher beings will go, hey, there's somebody we can work with. And they'll find you, they'll contact you. And so, I mean, they have a past here on Earth. You might say a karma that they're cleaning up. So they're responsible for that. And they're removing the old draconian program and the reptilian. They're removing all that and giving us a fresh start. But we have to do our part and take personal responsibility and start living according to universal law. And once we're moving in that direction, then they can walk among us. And but they are right now, they are walking among some people. They're here at the ranch all the time, and they tell us exactly when their ships are going to come in, and we have the cameras rolling. They bring these massive light ships right in treetop level. And we've done that redundantly for 40 years, and we're still the most censored group on the planet. And we proved contact. You know, we have triple PhD Boeing engineers, Air Force base commanders, Lockheed Skunk Works people. We've had them all testify. Even I have NASA scientists here, and they went on coast to coast on our belt and testified and said, the ships are here. They aren't ours. We don't know what they are. Their technology is way beyond anything we have. And so I don't know at what point do people realize that the whole thing's a controlled narrative and it's been usurped, and we have to do something different. You know, we have to start over.
Thank you, Shelley. I think you can fire the next question.
Yes, I've got a question here, James, that we've kind of gone into in our chat already to a degree, and the question is framed, what has happened in our world? But I'd really love for you to just share around the fact that this world has been hijacked. And that the hijack isn't just, we look at the world in many look at it only on the physical level. So there are certain individuals that have been from the get-go, certainly for the last 4 years, in the mainstream view, and we all think, oh, they're the baddies. But I'm talking about the ones behind, the actual bad ETs, the field, not to frighten, but to get real, because this is real. And what I have had experience in meeting these fields, and I have had to learn how to handle that, and it was called on the spot, connect with the creator source, and it was gone. But my normal hanging out is with the beautiful beings. But to walk in La La Land and just think that it's all good is naive. And in our world, where we look at the physical human people calling the shots, in most of them in political places, but in top CEO positions in the world, we just, as a people, tend to look there. Can I ask you to speak to the types of ETs that are nasty? What kinds are they? Are the reptilian, insectoids,
Yeah.
What?
There's a lot
what
of
is that
different.
about?
I'll kind of go from the top down. At the top, you have some fallen Anunnaki. You've got serpent beings. Serpent beings are usually cloaked, and they'll wear and you never see their faces. And they'll wear a cloak with a hood, but you never see their faces.
Okay.
The royal reptilians, they're the winged reptilians. And then you have the basic reptilians everybody knows about, and the Dracos and things like that.
Yes.
And as you go down, you've got demonic kind of creatures. Some really, you've got tulpas. People they do rituals, and they create these creatures that have a skull face, and they send them to do their bidding. There's so much going on those. You've got black magic and voodoo type stuff and things, and they're calling in these negative spirits to do their bidding. Problem is, they get owned. When you work with the dark forces, eventually they own you, and they'll take your life force eventually. But the Illuminati boys. And then on the physical level, you have the Illuminati boys. You have the satanic Luciferians, and they control the monetary system and everything else. They just lost it, basically. But
right, yes, past tense, yes.
Yeah, the feds kind of just had their teeth pulled. But everything's going back to the treasury. But you have that group, and then you have a lot of people that are just morally and integrity challenged that are doing their bidding,
Yes.
And which is, and they think they're brilliant. They're very narcissistic, and they think they're smarter than everybody and clever, but they haven't even figured out karma yet, like
I
they
know.
haven't figured out action reaction.
Yeah.
And how clever is that? But a lot of these beings in these families, they have the three major families, and then one guy died and the two are back in control. And then you have 13 families under that. And these guys are figuring it out, and they're realizing they're on a downward spiral. They're imploding. There's no way they can continue if they don't change.
Really?
And so it's mixed. Those families are mixed. They have some good people in the families that are trying to turn things around, and some very powerful people. Even on the top 3 tiers, one guy was pure evil. He's dead. The other guy, I can't mention their names because I'll probably disappear.
No, that's fine.
But the other 2, one's just a businessman and one's good, and so it's being unraveled from the top down, and they're having meetings, and these higher dimensional beings are stepping in and saying, hey, you guys think you're powerful, you're not. We know everything you're doing. We know your thoughts. We know everything before you do it. We know the future.
Yes.
It's time for you to turn things around, and you have 2 options: either get with the awakening and healing of humanity in the earth, or we're going to replace you with something else. So that's kind of what's going on. But there's so much. It's really crazy making, because you've got clones, you've got masks, you've got actors, you've got CGI.
Yes.
And the only way you're going to figure out what's going on is that going on high, like ask, it's like this whole Trump thing that happened. That was the first thing I did. I didn't go by what I saw and what they're trying to push. I started going deep, and I go, is Trump, online? They said 100%. He loves America. He loves humanity, And I said, was this a real event? And they said, yes, like he was shot, people were killed, and everything else. And so I went through all the questions, I kind of already knew the answers, but before I go public with this stuff, I really want to run by, because sometimes you get faked out, and you don't.
Of course.
Because everything else but going on. And so now you can watch all the mainstream press acting like it never happened. It was a joke, and it was a publicity stunt. And I go, there's dead families there. There's people that are critically wounded, and a guy that was killed. And you're saying this was, to me, it's it's just showing how low they'll go to retain power and what they will do. And it's exposing them, and they're digging their own hole, basically. And even some of them, even on CNN, we call it the Clinton News Network or the CIA News Network. Those guys are totally turning around, a lot of them, and saying, this is enough. They go, enough's enough. I mean, we're not participating in this anymore. So they're collapsing. I mean, there's people on YouTube that have more followers than CNN, so it's propped up. CNN's totally propped up, by some very nefarious people. But anyway, that's what's kind of happening. So it goes back to people need to back away and get their information from within and trust that gut feeling, when you see these things, that if it's saying something's wrong here, look at it, or when these reporters come on and try to spin it, you got to go with your inner gut, and say, hey, that doesn't feel right at all. Right. And that's the whole thing. It's all about personal empowerment, getting your information from within, making your own personal connection with Creator and the higher beings. And then you own it. Nobody's going to take that away from you. And one other thing I wanted to cover is, like, we've had people like Danny Dyer and all these famous people come up here, and they went all over the world trying to find, Robbie Williams, the singer, he came up here, and they've been all over the world trying to connect with UFOs. And they came to the ranch and they said, I'm on UFO overload. They saw so many UFOs, and it's not a matter of seeing the UFOs. There's an exchange that happens.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And they, a lot of them go, I feel drunk almost. I feel giddy.
Oh, wow.
You get Corey Good on your show. He came here and had a huge experience. I don't want to say what happened, but he hooked up with some really beautiful beings, and they were waiting for him. And so that's going to take a whole different direction now. But
the story that he came out with the blue avians, I don't really know about the blue avians. Do you have anything? Just bringing Corey Good's name up, I think of the blue avians.
Yeah,
I've heard a story that, was it the Dracos that made the blue avians?
I don't. They came after him so hard and heavy. Everybody came after him, and mainly because he was authentic, and he was the first one to talk about 20 and back and all that.
Right,
and
true.
All of a sudden, everybody's 20 and back. Everybody's this. I'm Secret Space Fleet, and I'm this. And some are, and a lot of them aren't. A lot of them are just trying to build themselves up, or trying to regain something they lost during childhood. They're trying to get acceptance and approval and notoriety, things that they didn't get as a kid. There's so many things going on there. It's pretty crazy, but a lot of the things he talked about, I'd already experienced, and I have inside connections on the highest level.
Really?
And I would run it by them, and they say, yeah, that is real. These bugs, there are the bugs, there are the reptilians, and the moon, the moon's been taken over, and the moon's artificial. It was a terraforming planet that was brought here to terraform the earth, and then the reptilians took it over, and then we took it back, and then they took it over, and it's been going back and forth. I think we have it now because these other beings have come in and just cleaned up, but there's so much going on. I have video of, I'll send that to you. I have video of it looks like a big crater, and this giant ship's coming in, and the crater opens up and it goes in, and then the crater. Wow. It's Russian. It's from Russia.
On the moon.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, the moon. There's ships going in and out of the moon constantly. I mean, and the backside.
Is it a dome? Is it a dome? Internal space in that moon?
It's honeycombed.
Honeycombed.
Yes. Yeah, it's honeycombed, yes. And there's so much going on there. Extreme technology there and things like that. But just like Matt Adams here on our place, Matt Adams has, on the top level, they have a galactic airport, basically, and ships are going in and out constantly of the mountain. And then the next level down is technology. And there's energy coming off of Mount Adams that looks like the pyramids, basically, but 10 times stronger. And it's pulsing, and all these energy waves are going out. And you can actually film it. We have it on film. And then below that is the inner earth going on. And those beings, and the elven beings are the ones that control the doors.
Oh my gosh.
to the
Really?
inner earth.
Oh
To
my,
the,
what is-
it's really interesting that there's so much going on, and they have their ships. They have the inner earths have their ships. The advanced. They all seems like everybody has ships. We have ships. I mean,
Yes, yes,
so
yes.
we've been going back and forth to the Mars and the
Yeah.
moon since this late 60s.
It's
We've had that
incredible.
technology. Yeah.
It's actually incredible,
Wow.
and then the story of traveling how many light years to get to a place. No,
It's instant.
it's instant. Exactly.
Yeah, people go, you can't go speed faster than the speed of light. And I said, well, what about thought? And they go, what do you mean? I said, well, they've proven thought travels instantaneously, billions of miles. And
Yeah, exactly.
I said, what about thought? And I said, so if you take the vibrational continuum, you go from consciousness to light to energy to mass.
Yes.
Well, they can raise their frequency and go up to consciousness and just boom. And they can travel as an orb and go anywhere in the multiverse and observe you. They have that ability. So we have that ability within us as well. But most people run around thinking they're a body and a personality. But that's such a low level. And we're being locked into the first three chakras: survival, sex, and power. But you've got the heart chakra, you've got,
Yes.
this is love. This is supposed to be love felt, love expressed, God seen in all things, and I am God on the crown when it opens up. They don't want us to open up those chakras. They're trying to keep us down.
Oh,
I've got another
James.
question here. Has the SET Starland always emitted high frequencies? Or have you, James, and others activated and helped raise the frequency, which has enabled ET contact? If you can give us more information on that.
What was the
Please.
first part of your question? It kind of garbled.
Has the
connection.
SET Starland always emitted a high frequency? Or have you, James, and other people activated and helped to raise the frequency, which has enabled ET contact?
Yeah, it's basically, it's basically all about me. No, just kidding. It's a lot of people would like you to think it's all about them, but it's hard to explain that the closer you get to nobody, the more powerful you are.
That's the truth, huh?
And when you go through a near-death experience and you go through all the levels and you're with the source, there's this beautiful, unconditional, loving, joyous, golden white light. It's the most phenomenal thing you can experience. And when you come back, and I was having an identity crisis after that, because I didn't know who I was anymore. I was James. Yeah. And then now, and then I have these other beings, and I'm finding out I'm a multidimensional being existing on a vibrational continuum. And there's other aspects of myself on these other levels. And so I was having an identity crisis, and then I connected into Ezekiel, which they call it's an ascended version of Ezekiel. And they refer to him as the God of eternal bliss. And he said, it's all you. And so when you become one with the one consciousness that encompasses all consciousness on all planes and dimensions throughout the multiverse, that's when you're connected to God and everything is you. And so it's really, I think, as far as my own unique experience, I was having meetings at 5 years old with councils, with road masters, and they're taken before the councils. And I didn't really hear all the details, but I knew I was being presented to do something. And I'm fully aware of my other lives as well, on ships and the whole 9 yards and other civilizations.
Wow.
And so all of that together, this is what I came to do, and I'm not the only one. I mean, a lot of people came to do this, and we have that inner knowing pushing forward, inspiring us to say, hey, there's more to us. There's more to the universe. There's civilizations out there beyond our imagination. And we could really turn this planet around if we make contact with these beings and start implementing their wisdom and their technology and things like that. So So basically, I don't know if that answered your question, but it's like what came first, the chicken or the egg, you know, and then which goes into time, you know, and there is no time in the higher level. So it's like it's really a mind screw kind of, but we've definitely for 40 years here, we've done intense process-oriented therapy. We've anchored the energy in, we've done world and personal healing meditations, contact, you know, meditations. We've really done our homework here. We took total personal responsibility, and I think, you know, that has a lot to do with it. It's kind of like the first law of miracles. You got to do everything possible on your side, and then the miracle can happen, you know. But if you just sit and wait for the miracle, nothing happens, you know. And people go, oh, there are no miracles. I go, well, you didn't do anything, you know, you didn't do anything to make it happen. Like, I didn't win the lottery. Did you buy a ticket? No. What do you expect? Yeah.
Absolutely. No, thank you for that answer. Shelley, you go ahead.
James, can you give us any stories or messages from your higher dimensional beings that you have met on a more regular basis? Anything you feel is appropriate to share is specifically to help people to hear the beautiful messages, so that there's some kind of an awareness that may awaken in them, that help is available, that contact could be made. What have been your experiences in that field at your SAT Ranch?
Well, I know the higher beings, they're totally focused on planetary liberation and the awakening and healing of humanity, the earth, and educating us as to who we are, our real history, things like that. That's their focus, to get us out of this controlled narrative we're all in, you know, this socially engineered mind screw that we're playing with. And that's basically what they're about. And the higher up you go, they're just pure love. I mean, these Pleiadians, when you meet them, you just fall in love with them because they exude love, and they're so loving and so caring, and they're so non-judgmental. And I asked them one day, I said, you must look at us like monkeys. And they said, no, we had our evolution, we had our experiences, and you are us, you know, we're your ancestors. And so they look at us, and some of them are in total awe of what we've done down here. They said, we couldn't do what you're doing. It would have wiped us out a long time ago, because we're totally telepathic. Our empathy is off the scale, our sensitivity. We couldn't walk in that slush you're going through, that psychic turbulence and all the nonsense. So they're in awe of us and what we're doing down here. So we need to stop beating ourselves up. You know, it's not, you know, we did incarnate into a dysfunctional planet. It's been corrupted, you know, and it's being reset, and stop beating ourselves up. But it's so important right now. Their main message is we need to release the past. You know, that includes personal and group grudges, you know, societal grudges or cultural grudges, all that stuff. We need to transcend all religion, all cultural boundaries, and get into that pure unconditional love and joy and bliss. And that's what they're focused on, is helping us to rise as far as they're just totally focused in our own empowerment and our own spiritual evolution is what their main focus is. And they're always going to be there, you know, even if we screwed up and we think we're not worthy. There's fear, guilt, and unworthiness are the three things they use to suppress the human spirit. You know? So they don't judge, you know, they're beyond that and say, okay, well, did you gain the wisdom from the experience? Okay, start over, do it right this time, you know.
Beautiful.
And forgiveness is unlimited, because from my experience, God doesn't have an ego.
No,
it can't judge. It's beyond that. It's the wellspring from everything comes out, and it's far beyond that. And even Jesus said that, neither do I judge thee, nor does my Father judge thee. Go and sin no more. So he's saying that we're not judging you, you know, stop doing it, you know, stop screwing up, because you're creating a reaction to your choices and actions. And that's what they're saying, like, get back on track, align with universal law, be kind to each other on the planet, and you can evolve through this. If you don't, it's not optional anymore. The Earth's a thing. You've got to get with universal law and get with the program, or you won't be here. Your body, your physical body will fail because you're not receiving the life forces and you're not adjusting to the vibrational lifting of the planet. So if we're not frequency specific to where the Earth is evolving to, we're not going to be here, basically. We have to make this shift. And a lot of the high beings, even the Illuminati families, they're figuring this out, that they can't operate business as usual anymore. They've got to shift. They've got to change. They got to divert their attention, their energies and assets towards the awakening healing process. And they're dividing right now, and some you're just going to see them implode. You look at them; they age fast. Their bodies just look like hell. Their technology is failing. They can't keep themselves together anymore, and it's because they're on the wrong side of the fence. Basically.
Beautiful message, James. James, where can people get hold of you?
Best way to get a hold of me is well, we have the ECETI Stargate on Rumble, and every Saturday night at 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, and I go in there and I'm in the chat, and that's one good place. Or you can go to eceti.org on the website, and that has all the information, as well as the ships and things. We have some things on Rumble. We've in Hawaii, I was there for 3 months, and I filmed 1,300 ships in months, so it's crazy. And I also got photographs of Archangel Michael appearing and things like that. So it's pretty insane. But the thing about everybody goes, oh, the guy's totally Fruit Loops, gone off the deep end. But I go, a camera doesn't have a brain. The camera just films what's there. It doesn't decide whether it's real or not. And we have the footage, we have the video, the photos, the stories, the witnesses, we have everything. And that's why they're always trying to tear us down, but it's not like it happened in the past. It's still happening.
It's happening.
And people come out and have their own experiences, and then nobody can take it away from them. So, and that's really important,
Absolutely. Been absolutely wonderful having you here, James. Yes.
Oh, thanks for having me on the show.
I just would like to ask a final question, please. Is it possible to visit your farm, your ranch?
Yes. Yeah, go to eceti.org, and there you can get all the information you need. We have rooms, we have cabins, we have all kinds of things, and there's a lot of local areas too people can stay. But definitely just go through the website, and it'll give you all the information at eceti.org on how to book a room, or if you just want to skywatch, that's fine. Just let us know.
And another question,
James,
can students study with you? Do you have a Zoom platform where people can enroll on a course and they can study about UFOs and astral traveling and out-of-body experiences? And can you teach people to do those phenomena?
Yes, we definitely do that. We have self-mastery ambassador trainings here about 3-4 times a year. And that's the intensive stuff where you really get into it. And it's also online at ECETI Stargate TV. You can go there and do the course there online. A lot of the latest ships, all the stuff's up on ECETI Stargate TV, so you can join that and be updated on. And we have a lot of new stuff coming up. We just did another self-mastery class, and a lot of treetop level massive ships coming in. And we had one come over that looked just like the Millennium Falcon, and I got the whole thing on video and got a photo of it and everything just recently. But it's insane what's going on here. I'm really surprised at how much this has been censored, and how much evidence and hundreds of thousands of people have come here and had their own experience. So they can't censor it anymore. There's like 100,000 ambassadors out there now. Over the years. We've been for 40 years. So
and And our little intuitive minds will be one of them, because let me tell you something, that once you get this, the wind behind a person's sails in terms of these kind of stories, you can't put it down.
Mhm.
And the message that comes out of you is source energy, universal law, love, and humongous hope. And I am so thrilled to hear those messages, because that's exactly what we need to hear. And also another thing is, we're not here by accident, none of us. We've come here, some of they think they're from here, some think that they're not from here, but we are here in these times for the greatest shift, and we're part of that for the better.
Exactly. And people need to realize that don't judge yourself because you don't fit in. You were never supposed to.
Yeah.
You came here to make changes and to help heal a very dysfunctional planet right now. And so don't judge yourself by social consciousness or anything else. You didn't come to be a part of that. No. And so if you're not accepted by the masses, great, good on you.
It is great, yes. Been lovely to chat with you, James. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for having me on the show, and keep up the good work you're doing as well.
Thank you. James comes to the full moon meditations that we do, and I mean, we're doing the deep soul work. It's the soul healing, and it's all around nature, and it's around remembering, being the change, and bringing it forward.
Yeah, can I say one more thing really quick? That this is measurable. This isn't woo-woo stuff. That the central sun is connected to all the other suns. It said we're going to the next level. Our sun is going ballistic with solar flares. The Schumann resonance is off the scale. If you don't believe in this, just go out and do the science. And our DNA is getting activated, and that junk DNA is not junk. And
yes,
all measurable. It's all scientific. It's not woo-woo. You can prove it all. And it's okay to believe that we're under a great awakening, basically. It's not, they're trying to shove it all down and say it's not real, but it's as real as you can get.
You know, I heard this word long ago, and it's not my word. I heard it from someone, the word impossible. And then you make it 2 words, impossible.
Yes.
And that is the conversation that we're talking here. Each one of us is impossible. And that's
the only thing impossible is the word.
Yes, exactly. Love that.
Yeah.
James, I just want to say today was a highlight for me. I thank you sincerely. And I really look forward to connect with you again and do your courses and visit you at your Stargate ranch. It's fascinating. Please, to our audience, remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Until next time, goodbye. Shelley, over to you.
And James, we're going to have another part 2 and part 3, as many as we can with you, if that's okay, James. All right, lots of love and many blessings. Thank you.
Bye.